local station. You're watching the NBA Finals on NBC. Spike says fourth quarter, we're coming back. But they're in a 9-point hole.
Well, Bob, they better. They cannot get down 3-1. They will not win the last 3 games this series. So it's going to take everything New York has in this fourth quarter. The crowd, execution, effort, defense, the whole thing to be able to pull this win out now.
Do they make it a best 2 out of 3 by pulling even, or are they pushed to the brink? Thomas gets them 2 points closer. Swing it to the corner for Jaren Jackson. Now it's Sean Elliott. They're patient, still plenty of time. 7 on the 24. Elliott's got a good look at it, and he drills it.
He has got to continue to be aggressive. When he shoots the ball well, he changes their entire team.
He's in double figures now with 10. Allen Houston trying to bring the Knicks back.
When you can shoot the basketball like that, you can post further on the floor because you can just catch and shoot it. That's what Allen Houston just did.
Relatively quiet night for him so far. 15 points. And a travel on Duncan.
Jeff Van Gundy has totally changed his defense on the screen roll. It's what he told Jim Gray at halftime. They're jumping out hard now on Avery Johnson, and you can see he's not getting in the lane.
Whistle as Houston starts his move on Elliott, and a travel on Allen Houston. So an exchange of walking violations. San Antonio ball.
Allen has a tendency sometimes to shuffle his feet. Got caught that time by Mike Mathis.
Tim Duncan threw it away. Avery Johnson couldn't corral it.
Tim Duncan showed a little bit of this. Remember, Bob, in Game 3, he turned the ball over the first 2 times he touched it. Now, he's played all but 1 minute in this game tonight. David Robinson checks back into the game after a great rest, so he should be fresh. But Duncan with 2 really careless turnovers.
They set it up the same way. Houston along the left sideline, now to Sprewell. Explodes into the lane, but Duncan is there to get a piece of it.
That's an 8th block shot. They've been averaging 7 in the series, only 3 then in Game 3. But tonight, once again, the shot blocking a major factor.
Robinson is pushed and fouled.
Latrell Sprewell thinks, I've got a layup. Doesn't realize Tim Duncan is behind him. Just a piece of it, then controls the rebound. So get an opportunity there, Bob, to cut it to 5. The block shot, sideline out of bounds now for San Antonio as Jaren Jackson steps out and Mario Ellie back into the game.
After Thomas's 5th foul, he sits down. Camby in for it. Duncan to Elliott. Pull up. Won't go. Robinson on the offensive glass, but the foul is on him. 3 on the Admiral. 9:48 to play in the 4th. Spurs by 7.
San Antonio leads by 7. 9:48 to go in the 4th quarter, and it's been the supporting cast for David Robinson and Tim Duncan tonight. Robinson and Duncan with 29, but Mario Ellie and Malik Rose off a miss from Jaren Jackson. Sean Elliott with a spot-up jump shot. These guys have been terrific tonight. We talked about it before the game. Tonight, these guys have a combined 37 points. In Game 3, only 22 points. So Robinson and Duncan's numbers are down. These guys have picked it up.
And so, at least tonight, they don't miss Jaren Jackson, who remains cold, 1 for 7. Johnson poked it away. Nick ball, 16 on the shot clock.
New York's had about 3 chances here to cut this thing to 5. Basket here, this crowd will really erupt.
It's Houston. And there's a whistle. He'll come to the foul line with a chance to cut it to 5. Mario Elie is the guilty party. It's his 4th. Tomorrow night, join NBC for must-see TV Thursday. Friends, Jesse, Frazier, and Will and Grace, plus the drama of ER. Thursday night, beginning at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on NBC. As we pointed out at the beginning of the broadcast tonight, you think about this wild ride for the Knicks into the finals. It could have ended in Game 5 of the first round. If Houston's shot with less than a second to go doesn't bounce around and fall in, their season's over. Van Gundy's almost certainly fired. The Camby trade is a bust. Sprewell is still regarded as the guy who choked his coach, first and foremost. And the Knicks are a distant memory as the playoffs proceed. Here's the jumper by Elliott that won't drop. Robinson for the tip. Another try. When the Knicks needed to be on the defensive glass there with a chance to get the ball and move to within 3, San Antonio got several cracks at it instead.
Well, they've been beaten on the boards tonight, 34-24 in critical offensive rebounds. So Joe Sprewell lays that ball in the basket. But Bob, just to follow up on your point about New York, it just always points out to you how fragile success is. This time it was one bounce of the ball in the basket.
22 now for Spree. Johnson gets into the lane, switches to the right hand. Duncan is there to follow, and he was fouled.
The offensive opportunities, David Robinson tips it. He tips it once again. He and Duncan both get a hand on that one. So the tip in, the offensive rebound, Sprewell scores, and then Avery Johnson drives into the middle, misses a shot, and Duncan with another offensive rebound. So, again, every time Avery Johnson gets in that paint, it causes problems.
Duncan gets them both, makes it a 7-point game. This after Camby's first foul. He's been in constant foul trouble in this series prior to tonight. Sprewell finds Camby, changes his shot, but draws the contact that will send him to the foul line. It's Robinson's 4th.
San Antonio just does not like to double team. It gets him spread out. Duncan has to go out and help, and when he does, it leaves David Robinson back there by himself. He's late getting there. Camby sort of the up and under, and David with the foul. So now Camby with 2 free throws.
Not a good free throw shooter. Speaking of Camby, not Robinson. Big miss.
Well, they need them all right now. You can ill afford as you're trying to catch up. They're playing from behind tonight, Bob. They played ahead the entire game 3. Tonight, they're playing from behind.
Van Gundy usually goes to Childs in the 4th quarter. Ward is still in there. Is this Charlie's big game tonight, or the lingering effects of Childs' injury? Maybe a combination of the two?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of the two, and I would not be surprised if they need a little offense here to go to that backcourt that we talked about. Sprewell, Houston in the backcourt, maybe cause some problems rather than to come back with Childs.
6-point game. Mario Elie flips it to Duncan. He gets Camby off his feet, misses, but a foul. It's Larry Johnson, his 4th. This has not been Larry Johnson's night. Meanwhile, here's another turnaround stat. Offensive rebounds, which have been almost non-existent for the Spurs prior to tonight in this series. They've got a dozen, and Robinson has 9 of them.
Well, remember after game 2, we talked about that they had 9 total offensive rebounds in the first 2 games, and Duncan had 8 of them. Tonight, that's really been a key factor because it's given them multiple shots at the basket, something they had not been getting.
Seven-point game after Duncan makes 1 of 2. Here's Houston accelerating baseline. Camby, turnaround, short. Who touched it last? San Antonio.
You see how quickly Bob Camby shot that ball? Almost the presence of Duncan and Robinson.
The San Antonio Spurs are heading home after tonight's game. The question is, do the New York Knicks go with them?
You know what, man? Let's go out there and just dominate and then get to San Antonio, right?
Leave it on the floor. Leave it on the floor. Ain't no way they're gonna stop this show. Ain't no way. No.
That we would continue to grow and continue to trust one another, and that's why we can expect to go get this game tonight.
From the start, the Knicks team showed no willingness to surrender on their home turf as Allen Houston carried them early.
He's on the run, just past Houston on the front foot. Head fakes Kurt, drives, takes all the way, and hits.
Up the floor to Houston, the attack court comes baseline, pull up 6-footer, yes!
The Knicks open up an 8-point lead.
Playing their best ball of the series.
Now look, on the double team on Houston, we got to make sure we want to go early rather than late. We'll live with everybody else shooting, but not him.
The Spurs contained Houston and corralled everyone else.
Goes baseline against Duncan, rejected by Tim Duncan, and back come the Spurs.
San Antonio would launch a total team onslaught.
Here's Duncan spinning, turning, going up for the shot, banks it in.
And by the third quarter, they had built a 9-point lead.
Jaron Jackson, deep three, yes!
He is shaking up the New York Knickerbockers.
And the whole tenor of this game has changed as the Spurs have now scored 13 unanswered points.
Oh, Jeff Van Gundy is beside himself.
But we got to get a spurt. And to do that, you got to be up and into them, and you got to get on the floor. So let's go.
The Knicks surge came from nowhere.
Stolen, Sprewell, great steal. Sprewell is like lightning. Slam it down with a tomahawk.
Suddenly, Latrell Sprewell caught fire.
Latrell Sprewell again.
But Tim Duncan would join him, and a fourth-quarter duel lit up the New York skyline.
Puts it down, comes baseline, spin over the top, good! Outside Sprewell, coming down the lane, glides to the glass, the layup. Oh, Latrell Sprewell!
And the Garden is exploding right now.
Now it's Duncan's turn. Back Studley down, double team Sprewell. Tim Duncan's jump shot spinning in. Tim Duncan scores again.
Here's Sprewell. Yeah! Oh. Sprewell rammed it home over Jackson. He's making like Michael Jordan tonight. One after the other. Sprewell and then Duncan answered.
There are 10 players on the floor, but for the last several minutes, it's been Sprewell and Duncan.
He's making them from everywhere. Sprewell gets a pick, fires from deep. Yes! A three from Latrell Sprewell, who is having the game of his life.
As the battle raged into the game's final minutes, Duncan had a secret weapon. He knew he could call on his teammates for reinforcement.
Now, who else besides Duncan will stand up for the Spurs? A championship awaits. 75-72 New York.
A critical offensive sequence.
Down low to Tim Duncan. Duncan guarded by Larry Johnson. Double from Allen Houston. Mario Elie for three. Bang! A huge three by Mario Elie ties the score.
The Knicks regained the lead by a point, but the Spurs team defense would again stop them cold.
And what a time for a 24-second violation.
Spurs have another crack at it.
Since 1973, the franchise had been waiting for just one shot. The moment had finally come.
And the Knicks up by one, 77-76.
Minutes ago, elimination game. Can New York hold them off?
Here comes Avery Johnson. A title's at stake. Spurs are closing in. You want Duncan. Got it on the entry pass. Double team. Elliott on top. Elliott bluffs, drives, kicks. Avery Johnson with the lead. Yes! Avery Johnson drills it from the baseline, and the Spurs have regained the lead.
The little guy sticks that dagger right toward your heart on every occasion.
Avery Johnson had taken his shot at history and made it. Now the Spurs needed one last stop before they could call themselves champions.
2.1 seconds remain to be played. The San Antonio Spurs lead the Knicks 78-77. The Knicks will have the ball out of bounds at midcourt. Ward will inbound. Ward looking, gets it ahead for Sprewell. Got Sprewell underneath the glass. Double team, fires at the buzzer, no! The San Antonio Spurs win their first ever NBA championship.
And the pride of the great Lone Star State are NBA champions. They are the first ABA team to win an NBA crown, and they have done it.
The San Antonio Spurs, one of the nicest collection of athletes you'll ever be around.
You know you're out there for the same purpose, the same goal. And everybody's such a great guy on the team that you do just about anything for him.
The real satisfaction I get out of this is watching David and Sean and Avery smile and enjoy after having been together so many years and things finally work out for them.
Man, I can't even describe it. For so long, this is what you dream about, you know. And now I can't even talk about it, man. It's incredible. I'm blessed, just blessed.
Congratulations, 1999 NBA champion, San Antonio Spurs.
When Sean and I, we first got in the league, and we were at practice one day, and we just sat there and looked at each other, and we just were laughing and thinking, man, they pay us for this? This is unbelievable. You know, this is great. But I feel like that's kind of it's one of those situations where Avery and Sean and I can kind of sit there and look at each other, and we have that bond, you know, we're just looking at each other and saying, man, this is awesome.
Hey,
it's all about the team. The team needed me to hit that shot, and they was dependent on me.
I keep following around the best player in the game. I have a feeling that has something to do with all these championships.
Man, my luck here. What the hell am I doing here?
Yes, sir! Yes, sir!
Get out, baby.
Wow. This is for the folks back home in San Antonio. 26 years of waiting. I'm holding it for you. I'm bringing it back to you.
I think it's gonna be a lot more fun to look back on and see what I did. Right now, I can't even do it justice. When I look back at it, it's gonna be outstanding. It's something I won't even believe.
It's still a dream right now. Wake up in the morning and I don't know it's real.